you live in Mamelodi or Hammanskraal. Say it again? In Hammanskraal. And for 4 years that we've been running Night of the Poet, and we've never had an opportunity to come and perform here, it is a criminal. It's criminal. All right, we'll give you that answer. But also remember, there is Night of the Poet around in Pretoria. There is capital letters that happens. There is no camp shares that happens. There is one that you do on the other side. Yes. So there are a lot of spaces, and the producers are here. I want the producers to be able to say and answer. I will answer on behalf of Black Agent to say, why are we not giving you the platform? And I think the manager, some of the people who are all doing these things are here. Even the compilers of the names of poets who perform here, he's in the house. So we will ask that question. Okay, the first question mainly it was a much bigger comment, but it was then narrowed down to issues of how do we make poets professional? I mean, that's the question. But it's a very interesting one because she started by saying, I don't think that poets must be mainstream. And I want to ask her, what does she mean? And what does she understand by mainstream? I'll ask her. She is a journalist. She's in the house. Poets, how do we make poets professional? That's that thing. What must they do?
Okay, so first of all, I think that you were like, I agree with you completely when you said that a poet should go as far as the poet wants to go. And that's really important because there are some people who want to be famous and their skill is poetry. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're good at your craft, because you're not going to be famous, for rubbish. And that being said, being professional is rocking up on time for a gig, meeting deadlines. It's not showing up drunk in front of an audience, and understanding that people are there to watch you and they could be doing anything, including packing their wardrobes, but they choose to be sitting in front of you, listening to you. And that is an honor, a privilege. And you need to acknowledge that and honor it by giving your best work. As an artist, you're only as good as your last gig, point blank, period. I saw this artist who I had thought was really amazing before, and then I had seen her, and I thought she was really like rubbish. And then a year passed, and people had been asking me about her, and I kept on saying, I know she's really rubbish. Then I saw her again a couple of days ago, and she was breathtaking. Do you understand that for a whole year I was telling people I thought she was rubbish because that was the last image I had of her.
Yeah.
And you need to understand that. So if you treat yourself like you understand that you're only as good as your last performance, then everything you do will be structured around making sure that you're presentable, you're punctual, and you deliver the best work you can do.
Okay, maybe just to add there, in 2011, August, we had ladies' shows here. Ladies' show. And we're celebrating ladies. And we selected the best poets ever. For some reasons, some poets delivered well, and I respect it. But there is this one poet who insisted to want to sit with the people. There's nothing wrong with you sitting with the people. I want to sit with the people. All right? People sit with the people. It's okay. But the mistake she was doing when she was sitting with the people, her friend was feeding her with, I think it is Jack Daniel. You see, they sell the small bottles on the other side. And she was performing second last. By the time she got here on this stage, this poet, the first thing that we noticed whatever poem she was doing, she was repeating it, even if it was not necessary. And for some of us that will follow Vangile's poetry, when she performs, there are poems like songs that you love it. You know it word by word. Am I correct? I mean, if you listen to Beef, it is about 30 minutes long, but I know it word for word. When it started, I stand up. And I've seen most of the crowd singing along or doing poetry along with the poet. Now, she was repeating it, and that was the first mistake. The second mistake, it was asking audiences whether they know her poems. Now, when she started moving from the stage, going to you to say, do you know who I am? Then half of the audience left. Because there's no way that I can listen to this poet who thinks that they speak, but she doesn't know herself. And she's asking me who. Well, now, what Vangile is putting on the table, and this is rare. These are the people that we bring here as poets and as producers. Now, I've paid money, and people left. It was bad for that night. I slept bad because I respected him. But it was chaos on Twitter. It was chaos on Facebook. Now, when people now start talking, they're no longer talking about that poet, who was the fifth of the four. They say, Night of the Poets, that book, Unprofessional Poets. Like this poet was so drunk, she couldn't know who her name was. So now we're sitting with a situation where that last image of you getting drunk at that moment, no matter whether you recover later, people remember the bad more than the good. So I think that is what we say. So we say big up to those poets that when we say to you, we have arranged a dressing room for today. When the show is finished, you will meet your audience. And that's what musicians do. They try their best to be far, and then they come for a purpose. Because when you come to the audiences, you come for a purpose. So these are the forces that you need to manage yourself. How do I build my brand? But also, how do I not become reckless? Because I think she was reckless with her own brand, and she lost respect. I think that's the first question, and we are answering you. Are you happy, my sister?
Yes.
And that is what Lebo Mashile has done. Tonight, you're going to see one of the most amazing women in poetry, Napo Mashiane. She does nothing but poetry. She is doing so well. Her brand is solid. There is no poet in this country that, for me, from a lady's side, that I can equate to Napo Mashiane. And those are the people that you really believe that there are another Lebo Mashiane is here. How do we get these young people to become the same as Lebo Mashiane? So that's the first question that we're dealing with, and we are sorting it out.